Hey guys, it's Al Petrelli and Chris Caffrey from the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and you're watching CMS TV. Why wouldn't you?
It's Anthrax right here on your Classic Metal Show with Bring the Noise. And did you get a hold of Jericho?
No. I found his name and I sent him a note and tried to connect, but he's not connecting. The fuck? Is he connecting to you?
No.
Did he disappear?
I said to connect with you, and we'll see.
Did he quit?
Well, I see his name is up there on your call list.
Yeah, I found his name. Between the two of us, we're going to get this goddamn guy on the phone.
I know. It's a rough one. It's a rough one. See, that's what happens when you get live shows.
That's right.
Can't be planned out.
PC in the chat room, this guy better be fucking amazing. Or else what?
What are you going to do? I'm not going to listen anymore, pal.
I hope he's the worst interview ever and you sit through it, you dummy. What do you think of that?
Is that you, Jericho?
Yes, sir.
There he is.
Well, I expect to hear from you, Jericho. What is happening, Americans?
What is going on, Americans?
All right, Jericho. I got to tell you, man, I'm a big fan. I'm happy that you're calling. I'm sorry there was a lot of technical difficulties here, but we're glad to have you on the show.
Awesome, man. Yeah, technology sucks, man, but I'm glad to be speaking to you guys. I really appreciate you reaching out.
All right. Well, did you check out any of the clips I sent you?
I sure did.
Now, granted, Jericho, and I'm going to use a Jericho-ism right here, we're a couple of white guys, and I can't believe that you could talk to us.
When did that become a sin?
Well, apparently we're not allowed to talk to each other. That's what I understand.
Well, I mean, from what I'm told, I shouldn't be speaking to you without fear.
Right.
Apparently, you guys are the number one terrorist threat in America, and the number one threat to my existence right behind climate change, right?
Exactly. Well, Jericho, I've been watching your channel for almost as long as you've been on the YouTube. I know you've done it for about a year now, right? And you've surpassed 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, man, just over a year. I think July 8th or something is when I started, and yeah, a couple days ago hit over 100,000. So thanks to you and everybody else who, tuned in and watched what I had to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jericho, let's get into this a little bit. How did you get into this? Obviously you do your video podcast to and from work and during your breaks and all this kind of thing. So how did you get to the point of, I've got something to say. I'm going to break out my phone. I'm going to, do a diatribe in my car and upload it to YouTube because I think whatever it is that I have to say, I think people will relate to.
I was listening to, some clip from ESPN, and one of the guys on First Take, I think it is, Max Kellerman, he was talking about, and I've never really liked him, but he really got under my skin with this one. He was NFL have it so hard, and they don't get opportunities, and all these things that Warren Moon had to deal with, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, inside the realm of professional sports, you got it pretty damn good. I think league minimum now is over $600,000. So even if you're riding the pine, so to speak, you're still in a much higher tax bracket than most people. So what are you crying about? And if you can win, they don't care what color you are. They're not going to say, man, we could get that Super Bowl championship, but that damn quarterback's black. Can't have him. What team would pass up a talent? That's just ridiculous. And I know there's a lot of soft-headed people out there listening to that nonsense who are like, yeah, man, those poor NFL players, and it's so tough to be a black quarterback, and the NFL is over 70% black. So what's the problem with the quarterback position? And there's that whole narrative that, you know, take it easy on them. You know, stuff happened 150 years ago, and they're still reeling from it, even though no one alive today was alive then. But they just pissed me off, and I didn't hear anybody saying what I wanted said the way I wanted it said. You know, there's other YouTubers out there who are, you know, I'm not the only one doing what I do, but I just didn't hear it the way I wanted it said, and I had all these thoughts in my mind, so I'm like, you know what? Let me open up this damn YouTube account, hit record, and see what happens. You know, and that's how I got into it. And the reason I do the majority of my videos from my car is because I have 2 small kids, and, you know, quiet space is just hard to come by. So that's kind of what started it all.
And plus, you don't necessarily want to share this, quote unquote, the salty language you use sometimes.
Yeah, believe it or not, I do watch my language around my children. But hey, if you're 18 and up, let's talk about it. You know.
No doubt, man. Well, Jericho, you know, from watching your videos and from more or less just from paying attention to, you know, what is going on around the country and really around the world, what is it seems clear to me, and I can't figure it out for the life of me, is why does any group of people, and I could say the left, and, you know, we could go that route, but I'll just say, why would any group of people, whether it's the left or black people or white people or Mexicans or whatever, why would any group of people want to segregate themselves to a point where they cannot interact and intermingle, you know, and succeed amongst everybody? It almost seems like it's self-hate. You know, it doesn't seem, you know, we talk all the time on this show, and we'll play, you know, stupid Maxine Waters or, you know, the squad or them saying their dumb shit. And to me, it just sounds like self-hate. It doesn't come across like, yeah, we want to do what's best. What would be best, at least in my eyes, is if everybody can just fucking deal with each other and not say, well, I can't deal with you. You're black, goddammit, go away from me. You see what I mean?
Yeah. I don't get that separatist attitude and the separatist language that they use, because when you use that type of language, you're creating animosity. You're saying, I can say that all this stuff, but you can't, and I can do this, but you can't do that. Everybody should be able to say everything and do what they want, or nobody should be able to do anything. This, I mean, you know, from a political standpoint, if you want to use the term, you know, the Dems or the left, it's divide and conquer. You have to keep people unhappy. You have to keep them, you know, blaming somebody for their problems. You know, I think personal responsibility is what would cure a lot of this. You know what I mean? They have to keep that separatist language going to keep people pitted against each other. I know it sounds cliche, but, you know, you're easier to guide along and easier to make, you know, go along with what they say if you're separated, if you're not together, and if you're not strong, and if you don't have any self-worth. Well, I mean, I don't understand why anybody would take on the victimhood mentality. Why do you want to think that there's a class of people better than you? Why do you want to think that someone else can make it, but you can't make it? I don't subscribe to that. I don't think anyone's better than me. I don't think anybody's controlling my life. There's no white guy in a 3-piece suit and a cigar at the end of some conference table, you know, you know, make their life miserable, close that school. You know, it's nonsense. If that were true, why do people risk life and limb, pack everything they own on an inner tube, and float across the ocean to get here? Right. You know what I mean? That just doesn't make sense. And I don't understand that, man. I really believe it starts at home. If you feed your kids this crap, that they're victims, and every time you go out, you got to watch out because someone's trying to get you, or someone, that's how they're going to grow up. They're going to perpetuate that nonsense. And here we are, 2019.
Hey, metalheads! Tired of waiting for new episodes? Crave the real, raw, classic metal show? For just $4.99 a month, you can become a CMS VIP. You get every episode a full week early. completely uncensored and 100% commercial free. It's the only place to interact directly with the show, plus you score the Fast Pass, so your song requests get bumped straight to the head of the line on every live version. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe right now at classicmetalshow.locals.com and become a CMS VIP today.
Right. Do you think, and I know I'm jumping through a bunch of different points, but obviously one of the big things that is being used today as a political talking point is this whole talk of reparations. And again, I'm looking at it from this angle. To me, when I hear somebody saying, well, we need to get reparations and people need to apologize for what their ancestors did, blah, 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 all I hear is I can't take my own responsibility for my own failings. You know, it's like I need somebody to boost me up for something that had nothing to do with me, when clearly it's something from, you know, so long ago that it doesn't matter anymore.
You know what, man? I've had somebody that I know pretty well tell me that the tragedies and the trauma that slaves endured is passed on genetically to their children. I started laughing. I'm like, are you shitting me right now? Are you serious? What other group of people subscribe to that bullshit? Are you kidding me? This was 150 plus years ago. Get over it. That's reparations. Who's going to pay it? Into who? Only 5% of white people own slaves. Are the Indians going to have to pay? They own slaves. Are black people going to have to pay? They own slaves. What about the Irish people? They were down there in the Caribbean working the sugarcane fields. It's a mess. Too much time has gone by. Hey, sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, you should have been here 175 years ago. It's over. Move on. You're in the greatest country on earth. I don't care what anybody says. Your best, I think it was Larry Elder I was listening to once. He asked some stupid, you know, America's racist moron. He said, what country would you like to be black in? And that's a great question. Where else? You want to pick the motherland where they just, you know, some windowless paddy wagon pulls up and you're just gone? I mean, come on. This people need to just, hey, you got to forgive and forget. I'm sorry. That's the solution. Reparations is a joke, and you only hear it every 4 years. Where was Obama? That was our best shot. We had one of us in the White House. If it didn't happen then, it ain't going to happen. So get over it.
Well, Jericho, a lot of your commentary, obviously, you know, is political. Sometimes it's social. You know, you just sort of like pick the kind of the hot topic of the day. And the thing is that you made it very clear that you're a very strong supporter of President Trump, as am I. Chris, not so much. He likes what he does sometimes and whatnot, but I think Chris got burned out of the whole political scene during the Obama administration because he used to get into some really wicked Facebook discussions with these lefty liberals all the time, and I think it got to the point where he's just like, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm not even going to deal with politics anymore. But my personal feeling, Chris always kids me on the show here. He says, "Well, you're the driver of that Trump train." Well, I think the actual driver of the Trump train is Jericho Green. I mean, as much as I support the president and what he does, and he has a lot of great ideas and tries to implement a lot of things, you're 110% behind him. And I guess my question here is at what point did you become a very conservative voice? Because the typical liberal outlook is that, well, if you're, black, and I know you hate the whole people of color thing because you just rail on that. How did you become such a conservative? Where did you get your conservative leanings from?
I got them from my parents. My mom and my dad were both former Army. There was no, if you didn't do something, it's because you didn't do it. There was nobody to blame it on. And I get this shit my whole life. Oh, you talk white, and how come you don't support this person? look, I support who I think is right. I don't give a damn about their color. My dad always told me they may be your color, but they ain't your kind. So I'm not going to blindly follow somebody because they look like me. And my parents were all about personal responsibility. You know, do it right the first time, make your bed, you know, respect your elders. And, you know, my dad, when I was a freshman in high school, I got a note sent home from my algebra teacher. You know, he said that I was disturbing the class. My dad told me, you do that again, I'm coming up to your school. I thought he was going to come up to my school and talk to my teacher. No, since my dad was retired, he came up and sat in the back of my math class Monday through Friday, the whole class, to make sure I behaved myself. So I didn't have my parents go up there telling the teacher, oh, my baby wouldn't do that. No. If I messed up, my parents held me accountable. I don't see a problem with that for the rest of us. You know what I mean? I don't like the feeling of somebody else. You know, has somebody ever gotten in trouble for something you did? I don't like that feeling. I don't like anybody taking the credit for what I did. I don't like anybody taking the flack for what I did. I can handle it. And that's what's missing. They take your personal responsibility away, and they want you to be weak and blame this person and that person. My parents never did that, man. And that people of color, those buzz terms and words that they use, that shit pisses me off. That's like you said before, that separatist language trying to break us up, segregate us. They do it through the language first. You know, people of color. Okay, you're not as colored as I am, so I'm different than you. I deserve a leg up, a little extra, you know, help because of you. I'm separate. You know, I'm fenced off from you. I'm in the VIP section. You're out there, you know, with the nobodies, and that's not right. And where did this shit come? People of color? Isn't that just a colored person? I mean, we're all a color. Was there 6 albinos in the world? We're all a color. I hate that nonsense. You know, all I need from the government is take less money out of my check, get the fuck out of my way. I'll take it from here.
Exactly.
But my parents, that's where it all started, man. It all started at home. My parents didn't play that shit at all.
Yeah. Well, Chris is former military, and when his kids got out of line, he used to make them haul bricks from one side of the yard to the other and stack them up on the other side.
Fuck yeah.
Sounds great. Yeah.
They never acted
yeah.
out. You know what? I never once had a call from a cop. I think they got in trouble one time in 12 years of school. So, you know, it worked. It was. But
yeah, we know they got to test the waters. You know.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you make the best point, dude, and it's the biggest problem that we have as a society today, which is that personal responsibility is not only gone, but it's considered bad. I mean, these goddamn politicians out there saying, you know, we were just reading a story 15 minutes before you came on about how they're trying to pass a law that says that you're not responsible if you knowingly have HIV and give it to someone else because it creates a stigma. It's like, no, it doesn't create a stigma. You're trying to kill somebody.
Yeah, you're giving me a deadly disease. And what's wrong with stigma? Yeah, AIDS is bad and gross. I don't want it.
Well, because it hurts my feelings. It hurts my feelings, Jericho.
Hey, man, look, your feelings nothing compared to my immune system. You know what I mean? You're trying to kill me. That's what I'm saying. It's not your fault. Don't take responsibility because you potentially ended this person's life. How do you feel? I don't give a shit how people feel. You know how many times I heard from my parents when I was growing up? I don't care. The world don't care. If you're doing something like that, you need to be held accountable. You may not know much, but you know when you have AIDS. Come on.
Well, here's the other thing I like about your videos, Jericho, is not only do you raise a lot of valid points, but you do it in a comical and humorous way, much like Chris and I do. Chris and I, we just look at ourselves as a couple of goofballs, but both of us believe that we had a very good upbringing, and just like you, our parents were pretty tough on us and didn't let us get away with a whole lot, and we kind of teach a lesson in some of the discussions we have. You can take it for what it's worth. You could say, oh, well, those guys don't know what they're talking about. Fuck those guys. But what we do is we do it in I guess a lot of people, probably the number one comment about this show specifically is, you guys are really funny, but I learn a lot. And that's kind of what I picked up from you.
Yeah, man, that's and thank you for that, man. I really appreciate that. Like the great poet Mary Poppins said, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. And if we can deliver what we deliver with some, and it's not like we're trying like, oh man, all right, we gotta deliver this funny. It's just who we are. It's funny guys. It's just how we deliver things, and it appeals to people. But I've always been that way. I was the class clown in high school. I've always been a funny guy, quote unquote. But that's just how it comes across, man. Because man, if you don't laugh at some of this stuff, you have a damn coronary, man. It's ridiculous. Every time you turn around, like, dude, are we on Earth still? What happened? What do you mean there's 82 genders? When did that happen? This shit's, and I like to think that most Americans are like us, just sitting back looking at this shit like, what? Who's believing this? I honestly don't believe a significant portion of them. Damn, I can't even say that because I just pictured one of those women's marches I saw, and there must have been 100,000 people there. But I like to think, there's a lot of dummies, but I like to think the majority of people are just as baffled at this nonsense as we are, man. And, people like us, and I hear that a lot also in the comments that, man, you deliver it in such a funny way. I think that's necessary. I think that's what people are looking for. They do want the truth, but, entertain me a little bit, while you're at it, while I'm hearing this just outlandish bullshit that's going on,
Definitely, dude. What do you think the overall, when all is said and done, what do you think the outcome is? Does it work itself out, or are we just fucked forever? I mean, what do you think some semblance of normalcy or reality or common sense ever comes back, or is that just over?
That's a great question, and I have thought about that, man. I've literally laid in bed at night thinking, what's it going to be like? Because, like you said earlier, I am a big Trump supporter. I like to think, like most Trump supporters, we're not blind. There's not this blind allegiance. If he were to really screw up, like if this Mueller bullshit was real, if there really was some collusion, yeah, they'd throw the book at him. You know what I mean? It's not like no matter what he does, he's not my son, but if he messes up, hold him accountable. But I think if we have another, like if one of those clowns from the Democratic side that's running for president, if they get elected, yeah, man, we're in trouble. Like they say, my dad used to tell me, give your heart to Jesus because your ass belongs to me. We're in trouble. One of those fools, you hear all that crazy socialist, communist horse shit that they say. They're not going to change if they get in office. They really believe that shit. And if we don't have, and even if they say Trump gets his second term, if we don't have someone on the opposite side of that insanity, we are in trouble, man. And sometimes I don't like to think about it. I kind of like, just, man, stay in the moment. We got a good president now. Let's enjoy it. He's not perfect by any stretch. But growing up, I'd always hear my parents talking about this, and when I got old enough, I would talk about it sometimes with my friends, that, why don't we have someone who's not a career politician in the White House? When are we going to have a, quote, regular guy? All these guys, the presidents we've had in recent history have all been groomed for this. They're all in bed with these lobbyists. They've been tongue-kissing these fools for 20 years, so when you get in office, you got to pay me back. I've been scratching your back, it's time to scratch mine. And from what I can tell, from all accounts, Trump is not embedded in Washington. He's not part of the swamp. He's the closest thing, I guess, we could have to a regular guy. Yeah, he's a billionaire. We ain't near that. But he seems to be for us. He seems to echo a lot of Americans' beliefs. He seems to love America, which is, I think, number one. I think if you really love this country, everything else will kind of fall into place. But, shit, man, if one of those fools get elected, man, we're fucked.
Well, Jericho, do you take a lot of flack for being a quote-unquote a Trump supporter, that evil orange man bad?
You know what, man? I do, and I think it's so wrong that you have to be like Anne Frank about Trump support. You got to whisper, stay quiet. Hey, don't, hey, can't be loud with that. Meanwhile, they can walk around with pussy hats and Trump's a piece of shit and he's a racist and there's concentration camps at the border, all this outlandish shit. But yeah, I've been quote unquote attacked verbally for that. But as soon as I come with facts, they don't have shit to say. Well, I've had a girl who took this class. She said, well, my professor told me that he said that all Mexicans are rapists. And I said, do you really think somebody running for president is going to get on TV and say all Mexicans are rapists? I was like, there's video footage of what he said. She's like, there is? Yeah. Yeah, look at it. And the whole grab him by the pussy thing. Now, not only is there audio of that too, he obviously said they will let you. Okay? What he said was true. If you are powerful and or rich, women will give you an all-access pass to their clam. I promise you that. I've seen it. This wasn't earth-shattering. No shit. If you're powerful, they'll give it up. But, yeah, man, I've taken flack for it, but, you go a couple layers in, they don't got the facts for it. It's just all feelings of what their ponytail professor told them what to believe. It's nothing major. And people in the comment section, if they want to debate, I've gone back and forth with people. I've learned things from people. But a lot of them just come with the insults. Oh, you're an Uncle Tom, you're a Sambo, you're a sellout. When they called me Uncle Tom, I said he was a hero in the story, so thank you for that. But, man, it's like BB's off of Battleship. I don't feel that shit. Like, those people aren't real to me, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, which is why they go to the insults, because they don't have the intellectual ability to hold a conversation. I don't mind learning, but if you're just going to insult me, man, you can suck one.
Yeah. Well, Jericho, Chris and I have been doing this show for 24 years. And,
wow.
Probably in the last 15 of those years, we became a little more topical, I guess. This show started out strictly as more or less a music show where it was, about music, but that can only go so far. And between Chris's intellect and myself, we branch out into politics, we branch out into social issues, we talk about current topics, all that kind of thing. And, obviously some of the social issues that crop up, have to do with racial issues and things. And the thing is Chris and I, even though we don't bow to it, but because we'll talk about a racially tinged issue, we get labeled as racist because we're white guys talking about it. And that's the whole thing. It's just like, well, you guys are racist because it's like, well, so we're never allowed to broach that subject ever? We're never allowed to talk about that because we're white guys? I don't get that. And I know that you get the same thing because you make such a joke of it in your video. A couple of white guys.
Yeah, like, how dare you? If I had pearls, I'd clutch them. You know what I mean? Growing up, I grew up in a rural California town. My elementary school, I was like, I think there were 2 other black kids when I was in like first grade, and they were gone, and it was just me. My mom, when I would get my school pictures, my mom would call me Spot because I was the only black kid in the class. For real, she would say that, for real. So,
hey, Jericho, Jericho, your mom was a racist. I'm sorry to tell you.
I know. I just realized that I'm gonna call her and cuss her out for being so damn racist. I had kids come up to me and call me the N-word and all that stuff, and those kids were dealt with swiftly and savagely, but never did I think, oh, they're all like this, because I had other interactions with other white people that let me know they're not all racist. And what people don't do sometimes is distinguish. You can't just blanket people. Yeah, if a white person calls you that, okay, it was that person. They're not all like that. And there's no topic that should just be for a specific group. Like, I can talk about it, but you can't. That's ridiculous. You have an opinion on it. You live in this country. You see it. You may have a different opinion on it. We're all looking at the same show, but we're sitting in different seats. But you should never not be allowed to say something or be labeled. That's one of the most horrible things you can call somebody is a racist. How do you defend against that? And without any proof, how do you call somebody? It's like calling somebody, some dude, you're a child molester. That's disgusting. Without any proof, that's a disgusting thing to say, and that's wrong. Either we all can talk about everything or nobody can talk about anything. They don't need to be breaking it up, or we can, but that's not right. That creates animosity. That makes you feel like an outsider, makes you feel uncomfortable. And that's not cool. I don't think that I'm owed something like, oh, now it's my turn. Now I have the microphone. Now I get to tell Whitey what's up. Now I get to, persecute you or whatever the hell. That's stupid. That's dumb. None of these people had anything to do with any of the hardships black people have dealt with in American history. It's over. And I don't agree with that. You guys should be able to talk about whatever the hell you want. And if they don't want to hear you talk about it, then listen to something else, you asshole. When do people lose the ability to turn the channel? Then don't listen to me. I'm not bleeding into all your TV stations. This is ridiculous.
We say that all the time, Jericho. It's like, you don't have to listen to us. You got a million podcasts to listen to. You don't have to listen to us.
Yo, metalheads, what the hell are you waiting for? Metallica's And Justice for All just dropped in remastered 2LP vinyl glory, and it is crushing. Blackened, One, Harvester of Sorrow. Those riffs hit harder than a freight train, and the drums will straight up cave your chest in. This is the album that defined thrash, and now it sounds meaner, louder, and heavier than ever. If you call yourself a Metallica fan, then you need to own this. Smash the link at the bottom of the screen right now and grab your copy before it's gone.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. But you know what? Their mommy didn't give them enough titty, so now it's the rest of the world's responsibility to accept them and listen to the dumb shit they have to say. Get out of here. If you don't like it, go. 9 million damn channels out there.
Right.
Well, and you know what the worst thing is, Jericho, is I agree with you as far as, calling somebody a racist is I sort of agree with you. It used to be the same as calling somebody a child molester, a pedophile, or what have you. It's been so overdone now that it doesn't have any kind of impact anymore. It just, you hear it so often that, we hear it all the time because we'll do a story that's involved race. Well, you guys are racist. And, okay. My answer is always, okay, fine, I am. I heard it for 8 years. Every time I disagreed with anything fucking Obama said, I was a racist. And that's why I disagreed. Yeah. It didn't matter that I hated everything he was doing. It was, I'm a racist because I disagreed. And it just got to the point I was like, okay, fine. I'll put that on the back of my jersey, racist, because I don't care. The word itself has been devalued to the point that I don't even think that people in the media or anywhere understand what that word used to mean.
Yeah, like I said, I had kids call me that, so the word racist means something to me. I don't use in my own personal life, and even growing up in my house, we didn't use the N-word. I hear that black people use that a lot. I don't like it. It's a bad word. It's a disgusting word. It has terrible beginnings, and it's foul, and I just don't use it. And also with the word racist, and you're right, it's been used so much that it's been devalued, and that's a shame for people who really do deal with racism. And just because somebody disagrees with a black person or a colored doesn't mean you're racist. And what that does is it makes that colored person seem weak. Like, no, you can't say that. You can't disagree with him. No, they need complete and total support. Don't ruffle their feathers. Quiet. Don't make them upset. That's why I call black folks the Fabergé eggs of ethnicities, because you have to be so careful. You know what I mean? Like, that makes me seem weak. That makes me seem like I can't compete on the same level as other people, that I can't handle it in that deep water. No, that's ridiculous. That makes that I can't stand that shit. And racist and Nazi, that's another one that's just overused. And like, what are you talking about? You can't throw these words around. These words are serious. But you keep crying wolf, nobody's gonna give a shit anymore. It's gonna be like, yeah, okay, call me whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. And
exactly.
That, to me, that's just such. That's one of the big. You can't just throw shit like that around. Like my kids, I hate that. Don't say that. That's a heavy word. Don't just throw that shit around. And it's a shame.
You cannot go and say, and comparatively say, well, me saying that Obamacare was criminal is the same as somebody in the 1920s lynching, people. They're not the same. That's a racist. 1920s lynching black people was racism. Saying that Obamacare was bullshit, that's not racism. It's just not agreeing with political bullshit.
And there's numbers and facts to back up what you're saying. It was criminal. You can't force people to do something. That's not right.
Right.
If you don't take this, you're going to be penalized. That's not right. And it's not on par with a 1920s lynching. These people are retarded. And people tell me that you can't say retarded. Look, retarded does not just mean somebody who's mentally behind. It also means something that's foolish or stupid. They conveniently leave out, the other half of the definition of these words. It means foolish or stupid. And for you to equate racism just because some white person has an opinion, that's retarded. That's so stupid. It's mean and it's rude, and you don't get anywhere when you call people things like that. It was criminal. And even if if they think what you said was wrong or they don't agree, how about, okay, we agree to disagree? What's with the name calling? Why can't we just walk away from each other? Thank you very much. Pleasure talking with you. Have a good day. What's wrong with that?
Well, Jericho, I'm going to have to distance myself from this commentary. I can't have the R word uttered on this show. I'm sorry.
Oh.
This is a family show.
Oh, man.
Children, children might be listening.
If there's children out right now, then they need to hear this.
Well, let me ask you something, Jericho, and on all honesty, when I reached out to you to be a part of our show tonight, were you skeptical?
Not at all, man.
No?
Not at all.
Really? Okay.
I thought it was interesting. I was like, a metal show? This sounds good.
Yeah. But I tried to reach out to you back in December, and I didn't hear from you. And, periodically we do use some of your audio because it is, germane to some of the things we talk about. And it's like, yeah, Jericho was just talking about this today. Here's what he had to say. And I play a little bit of your stuff, So our fans, our classic metal show fans became fans of yours. And, people have texted me today because Chris put it out up there on his social media that you were going to be a part of the show tonight. And they were saying, yeah, I can't wait to hear Jericho, see what he's got to say. So we got some crossover fans there, Jericho.
That's awesome, man. Look, if they agree with, or, are interested in what I'm saying and they support what I'm saying, man, I appreciate it. I don't give a damn where they come from, what they listen to. I don't care. It's all good, man. It's all for the common good. It's all for a common cause. It's for us. We can't lay down and just let this bullshit happen, man. This is crazy. And it happened so quickly. Like overnight, man. It's like we woke up behind enemy lines. It's crazy. It happened so fast. We went from, metal skates and Big Macs and styrofoam containers to you can't have straws. And if you're lighter than, if you're lighter than a black person, you can't say, laundry list of things now because it's racist. I don't know how we got here, man, but it happened damn quick. But I wasn't skeptical at all, man. I was very interested. I was, honored that you guys, plucked me out of YouTube and even want to give me your time. So sure. I appreciate it.
Well, some of our favorites are obviously yourself and Mark Dice and Hex Sticks and Hammer and, a couple other ones that we frequent. We kind of check out what they're saying because, what we do is a little bit, unorthodox, kind of like yourself. And, we appeal to the fringe elements, I guess, or maybe a little more as President Reagan called us, the silent majority.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, well, we appreciate you taking the time and being a part of our show, and we'd like to have you come back on again if you're so inclined. And
oh yeah, man, anytime.
Yeah, but I enjoy your video podcast. I watch them every day. Your during your work day. I know you take your weekends off and spend it with your family and whatnot. But I enjoy watching your uploads, your one or two that you do every day.
Thanks, man. Thank you guys, both of you. Thank your guys' fans who are becoming fans of mine. And hey, anytime you want to have me on, just let me know. Hopefully I can figure out that stupid Skype shit, but you know.
Yeah, we would definitely
Either way.
like to get you on a video podcast, that's for sure. But one thing before I let you go there, Jericho, is something that kind of happened this afternoon, and you may be aware of it already. But since we were talking about calling people racist, did you see Trump just make a comment to Cummings over there in Baltimore and said, why don't you go back to your city and clean up that mess over there, that rat-infested mess over there? And the first thing Nancy Pelosi does, President Trump makes racist comments toward our esteemed Congressman, Mr. Cummings. Did you see that?
This is the thing. I did see that. And this is the same piece of garbage who is sitting there in the House of Representatives crying over children being separate at the border, when in his district there are more than 2,000 homeless children. My mom's from Baltimore. I've been there. I have family back there in that shithole. There's over 300 murders every year in that city. It's disgusting, and Trump's right. You sweep around your own back door before you try to sweep around mine. You got garbage and rats and dead bodies in your streets, but you want to turn around and talk about the president? Like, you got so much work to do, fool. You shouldn't even just throw your phone in the trash, roll your sleeves up, and get your ass to work. That's ridiculous. But they're saying it's racist because he said it about a black person. If Elijah Cummings was white, it wouldn't even be on her radar. They wouldn't even be saying anything about it. So it's more like you said, the overuse of that word. It's losing its sting. It's ridiculous. Like, racist? He's right. What happened to it being okay to be right? He's right. Your city is disgusting. It's a fucking war zone. Some little girl got shot in the back seat hanging out with her mom and her gang-affiliated boyfriend. Why don't you clean that up before you start talking about the president? He hasn't caused any deaths of any children. He doesn't have any dead kids and crackheads in his backyard, but Elijah Cummings does. So like the rest of those clowns need to do, get to work.
Amen. All right, Jericho. Well, tell people where they can find you. I know you got your YouTube channel, and I know you're proud to display your green gear now. So why don't you throw those plugs out there so our fans can look you up and buy into a little Jericho Green.
Yes, time for my shameless plug. Of course, YouTube, Jericho Green. I also have a Facebook page, Jericho Green, as well. And in the description box of any of my videos or my YouTube page, I have my Teespring link, my PayPal link. I don't care if you I had someone send me 20 cents one time, and you better believe they got a thank you email. I appreciate all the support, man. People's money is hard to come by. People work hard. They spend time away from their families to make money, and for them to spend it on me on any level is just blows me away, man. So those are the ways you can get in touch. Those are the ways you can support, and I really appreciate it, guys.
Perfect. All right, Jericho, in all sincerity, we appreciate you taking the time, and again, we'd like to have you part of the show, and we'd like to maybe do a video chat with you sometime.
Hey, man, you guys put the bat signal in the air. I'm there.
Perfect. All right, Jericho Green, ladies and gentlemen. So, Jericho, we appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, same to you guys. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
All right, we'll talk again.
All right, bye.
We'll see you. All right, there goes Jericho Green.
Jericho Green checking in.
Now, I haven't looked at the chat room. How's the chat room reacting?
It's been fine. They're just not paying any attention at all.
Well, Jericho's a good dude. If you haven't checked out his channel on YouTube, he puts up 1 or 2 videos a day. They're usually 8 to 12 minutes long. They're real short. He does them on the way to work and kind of during his break and, things like that. He's got a lot of fun things to say, a lot of relevant things to say, and does it in a very humorous way. So, if you get a chuckle out of what Chris and I do, you'll get a laugh out of what Jericho says. Because he says a lot of raw shit, and it's for real.
Yeah, I like Jericho. Good dude.
Yeah, he's
got
good
opinions.
He does, absolutely. All right, well, let's play a couple of tunes, and then we'll come back and we'll do present time.
All right, let's do that.
All right. How about you pick something? What do you want to hear?
I think I would like to hear, how about Wicked Stone from Slash featuring Miles Kennedy, since I'm going to see him on Thursday.
Called Wicked Stone?
Wicked Stone.
All
It's
right.
on not the current album, but the album before it.
All right. Let's see if I have that.
World on Fire.
Let's see here. Wicked Stone.
Sure.
Oh, there it is. Let's
Perfect.
take another call. Hail and Kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, yeah, Neely?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Trip from Tampa. Hey, I got a question for Chris.
Okay.
All right, so Chris wrote the Motley Crue book, and it was a damn good book. I've read it. One of my friends gave me a copy. Sorry I didn't buy it, but he gave me a copy. So
Okay.
let me ask you a question, Chris. With your experience with Motley Crue, and I'm just going to ask this, I'm just going to put this out there. Matthew Tripp in the early 80s supposedly stood in for Nikki Sixx. Do you believe it?
I have no knowledge either way. I don't know that story.
Matthew Tripp, I mean, he was supposed to stand in for Nikki Sixx in the early 80s, and he got pulled over in Florida and on a DUI, and the car was registered to Mick Mars. So when you were writing your book, The Motley Crue, or whatever, I just didn't know if you had hands-on information, whatever you can say about Matthew Tripp.
No, I don't know the name.
Wow.
Sorry.
All right, well, Hail and Kill, guys. That was my question.
All right. Hail and Kill. Who are you, Eddie Trunk?
I don't know that story. I'm not saying it's not true. I don't know it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it either.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's Slash featuring Miles Kennedy with
Wicked Stone
Wicked Stone, exclusively here.
on your classic metal show.
Yo, metalheads, you ready to get your brains blown off? Blizzard of Oz is now on vinyl, baby. Randy Rhoads ripping faces off with those insane solos, Crazy Train blasting through your speakers like a freight train from hell. This ain't some lame stream, this is the real deal on wax, loud as hell and twice as evil. Links at the bottom of the screen. Buy the Blizzard of Oz vinyl.